Good evening, PWCS families, and welcome to the Family Engagement Series. Today's presentation is Specialty Programs for Middle School Students. My name is Yanette Boyd, and I am the Supervisor for Family and Community Engagement. Today's session is being provided in the requested languages, of English and Spanish, and will be recorded. Once this slide is reviewed in the requested languages, we will begin interpretation. If you're on your computer, look for the interpretation button on your control bar. Once you click on it, pick your desired language, and your icon should change. If you're on your phone, click on the Join Audio and click Call over Internet. Click on the three dots and more. Click on the language interpretation and click on the language you want and done. At this time, the Spanish interpreter will review the slide.
Buenas noches y bienvenidos. Para el español, en su computadora busque el globo en la parte inferior. Haga clic para activar y escoja el español. El icono cambia a ES, que es español. Haga clic para listo. En su teléfono, haga clic para unir al audio a través del Internet. Haga clic en los tres puntitos, haga clic en interpretación y escoja el español. Haga clic para listo. Gracias.
Thank you. Interpretation services will begin now. Please click on the interpretation globe. We are going to ask you to please keep your device on mute. If you have any questions, please type them in the Q&A section using the button at the bottom of your toolbar. We will have someone monitoring the chat to ensure that your questions are answered. Would like to welcome our presenter for this evening. We have Ms. Kelly Brown. She is the Supervisor of Advanced Academics and Specialty Programs. Welcome, Ms. Brown.
Good evening and welcome. This is the Middle School Specialty Program Information Night. Each year, we put on these events to help families understand and navigate the specialty program opportunities that exist within our schools. I'm Kelly Brown, Supervisor of Advanced Academics and Specialty Programs. In addition, we have Dr. Laura Evans and Amy Hart, Coordinators of Advanced Academic and Specialty Programs. We ask that you hold off on posting your Q&As until we get closer to the end of the presentation, as many of your questions will be answered during the presentation. We will have time afterwards to answer some of your questions, and if we need to, we can always follow up in an email. Many times your questions can be answered by going to our website, pwcs.edu/specialty programs. Additionally, we are recording this session. We'll post it to the specialty program website by the end of next week. If you miss something, you'll always be able to come back to the presentation. Our focus tonight is to introduce you to the middle school specialty programs. By the end of our evening, you will have a brief overview of all 5 middle school specialty programs, as well as an understanding of the application process, deadlines, and supports. Specialty programs were first created in the late 1990s to provide programs where students may focus on career exploration, subject area concentration, and post-secondary preparation. These programs are optional for all students. They are interest-based programs available at elementary, middle, and high school. Specialty programs are also available for all students, including those receiving services such as special education, English language learners, and gifted services. At the middle school program, all of these programs are transfer programs. This means that your student will attend the specialty program full-time. They will not attend their school day at their neighborhood school. They will attend it at their base. For families to learn more about our specialty programs. We have general information sessions, which is website pwcs.edu/specialty programs. We host webinars for each level, elementary, middle, and high school. During these general sessions, we go over the information about the specialty programs, such as logistics, feeder patterns, transportation, and the general programs. Each of our program locations provides 2 school-based information sessions. The dates and times for each of these sessions will be posted on our website and the school's website. During these sessions, they will share information about how their specialty program operates in their location. In addition, we offer help sessions with members of our team each week to answer specific questions about the application process. These help sessions work like an open house where families can come and go over their questions, and once they've been answered, they can leave. Information about the help sessions will be posted on our website on November 1st, 2024. All of these help sessions are virtual. So when looking at your specialty programs for your middle school student, one of the most important pieces is the logistics. It's important to offer regular and accelerated classes for any student in their building. Applying to a specialty program is optional. Acceptance or non-acceptance in a specialty program will not prevent your student from having rich, well-rounded educational experiences. Choosing to participate in a specialty program is a big deal. It's important that students who are applying fully understand the requirements of the program and the commitment of the program. Families should also understand those logistics involved. When families are considering specialty programs and whether to apply for a specialty program, it's important to follow the steps on this slide. This is probably one of the most important slides within our presentation. Our work here today is going to focus on step 3, researching your available programs and locations. We encourage all of our families to go back to steps 1 and 2 after tonight's presentation and determine what is offered at your neighborhood or base school, as well as what are your student interests. This will allow your student to get a larger sense of what they want to do in middle school and better help you move to step 4, which is deciding what programs you'd like to apply to. When looking at the specialty program is transportation and logistics. So we're going to talk about those now. There are multiple program locations for each of our programs. Those program locations can be found on our website, pwcs.edu/specialty programs. When there are multiple program locations, there is a list of the example here, looking at if I'm a student zoned for Reagan Middle School and I'm interested in the math and science program. Underneath each of the program locations, Graham Park, Marsteller, and Ripon, you can see the program locations. Those locations are going to be found on our specialty program websites, and we will make sure that we take you to those later on today so you can get a better understanding of where those are. So, if I am a student at Reagan Middle School and I'm interested in the math and science program, what program location am I going to? Those of you that selected Marsteller, that is the correct location for the program access. This means that I would attend Marsteller Middle School for all classes: math, science, social studies, English, health and PE, all of it. would no longer be a student at Reagan Middle School. With that, I need to look at the transportation opportunities because arriving at Reagan Middle School is going to be different than if I was going over to Marsteller Middle School. So Prince William County provides transportation to all students within their school boundaries. If your student is applying to a program at his or her base school, they will ride their normal bus to and from school. This is considered traditional bus service. For students that are applying to a program outside of their base school, they will have the opportunity to ride express bus transportation. This provides students the access to specialty program locations, but there are some important things to know about specialty program bus stops. While our traditional bus stops ensure that students are not crossing major roads, not be able to walk safely to and from the stops. In addition, there are specific stops for each express bus, and those are the only bus stops available. You'll need to look at our website, pwcs.edu/specialty programs, to view those sites. We will take you there. Have after-school activity buses. If your school does have after-school activity buses, those bus stops may or may not take you to the express bus stop locations. This is a great question to ask during your school-based information sessions. So we're going to look at 4 students today. These are all students that could be attending Marsteller Middle School. Some of them are zoned for Marsteller Middle School, and those are our blue students, the base school students. And some are considered those transfer students are zoned for Parkside Middle, but they are attending Marsteller Middle for their math and science program. The transfer students are going to take the express bus stops, and the base school students will be walkers or bus riders for their neighborhood schools. For student A, the student lives 0.2 miles from the student's bus stop, while student B walks about 0.8 miles to the school. For our 2 transfer students, they will both be going to the express bus stop that will then take them over to Marsteller Middle School. For student C, the student would take the express bus stop from Mullen Elementary School, which is about 0.6 miles from their school. For student D, that student goes 2.3 miles to get to Mullen Elementary School. It is the family's responsibility to make sure that the student gets to and from the bus stop safely. We encourage our students and families to look at the express bus stops to ensure they know exactly how they're going to get to and from the bus stops each day. Now that we've gone over transportation and location, we're going to look specifically at the 5 specialty programs for middle school students. There are 5 specialty programs for middle school students. We have the International Baccalaureate Middle Years Program, our traditional schools, the World Language programs, math and science specialty programs, and the same gender specialty program. We'll go into each of those 5 programs, providing you a description as well as giving you the feeder locations for each of your schools. Excuse me. First, the MYP offers an inquiry-based interdisciplinary curriculum framework that builds conceptual understanding. It is a student-centered approach to education, and the MYP curriculum framework begins with the premise that students are the agents of their own learning and are partners in the learning process. It prioritizes people and their relationships to build a strong learning community. IBMYP teaches the Prince William County and Virginia state standards through a globally minded lens. Our international baccalaureate programs are our only programs that continue K through 12. We have we have PYP, the primary years program at elementary schools. And then our high schools, we have the latter years of MYP, as well as the diploma program or career-related program. So if you have a student who's currently in the PYP, they do have that opportunity to continue with International Baccalaureate all the way through high school. We have 4 IBMYP program locations throughout Prince William County. We have Bevel Middle School, Fred Lynn Middle School, Hampton Middle School, and Unity Braxton. I'm going to take just a moment for you to look and see what school your student would go to. So with our MYP programs as well, we want our students and our families to know that if you are currently a zoned student for Bevel, Fred Lynn, Hampton, or Unity Braxton, you do not have to apply for the MYP program. This is a whole school program where students, regardless of whether they apply to be there or not, if they are at one of those 4 schools, they will be taught within that curriculum framework. So our Bevel, Hampton, Fred Lynn, and Unity Braxton students do not have to apply to the IBMYP programs. Next, we have our traditional schools. These schools are 1st grade through 8th grade. The foundation of the traditional school format includes rigorous academic instruction, strong performance expectations, high behavioral standards, good attendance, uniform expectations, and consistent parental involvement. Students are guided and encouraged in proper behavior, use of language, study habits, and community involvement. Each student is required to perform 10 to 20 hours of volunteer service, depending on their grade level. Parents are also expected to give their best effort towards supporting their children's effort at school and in the community. Each student's family is required to volunteer at the school for at least 10 hours on their behalf each school year. Our students at the traditional schools do wear uniforms. You can see the students in that image. They have their red shirts and either black pants or khaki pants. So with our 2 traditional schools, the easiest way to determine which of your schools you would go to is to think about what your base school would be for elementary school. This is the easiest way. Elementary schools in the orange. In Porter, you have those schools in the blue. Next, we have our world language programs. Students in the world language programs will take language 1A, language 1B, and language 2 in middle school. These programs will focus on the 5 goals of the national and state foreign language standards, which are communication, culture, comparisons, connections, and communities. Students will earn 2 high school credits needed to meet the world language requirements. Please note, all middle schools, regardless of world language programs or not, offer 8th grade language 1. Offer language 1 for all 8th graders. The world language programs allows you to take the first year of a language in 2 years, and then your second year is in your 8th grade year. So if I was to be a student in Spanish, okay, I would be grade 6 would be Spanish 1A. It's the first half of Spanish 1. Then I would do Spanish 1B in 7th grade and Spanish 2 in 8th grade. Students applying to the world language programs must be rising 6th graders in order to apply for a world language. Okay. And our students are not able to transfer locations based on languages. Okay. Each of our students has their attendance areas, and you would go and choose a language within the languages offered at that school. So here are 3 world language programs. We have Fred Lynn, where our students can choose between French and Spanish. We have Lake Ridge Middle, where our students can choose between French, German, and Spanish. And we have Parkside Middle School, where our students can choose between French and Spanish. Our 4th program is our middle school science program. The Prince William Middle School's math and science programs offer an intensive study in mathematics and science to challenge and motivate students while developing their critical thinking skills through discovery and exploration. These programs provide students with the opportunity to become engaged in an intensive program of studies in math and science. The programs have been planned to challenge and motivate their students through critical thinking skills, inquiry-based learning, discovery, and exploration. We have 3 math and science programs: Graham Park, Marsteller, and Ripon. Excuse me. Our final middle school specialty program is at Woodbridge Middle School, and it is the same gender program. This is the only program of its kind and is limited to students who are east of Hoadley Road. The same gender program offers students the opportunity to be enrolled in same gender teams, which will have gender-specific classes for their core academics. The same gender teachers differentiate the delivery of their instruction and utilize a variety of gender-specific learning strategies based on research brain differences between the genders. So now that we've gone over the 5 specialty programs, we have our application timeline. Our application opens on November 1st, 2024. And all of our applications are due by February 1st of 2025. We will have decisions on their applications in mid to late February, and students will then accept or decline their offer by March 5th. We allow students to apply to 3 specialty programs. There's 5 specialty programs in Prince William for middle school. They can apply to up to 3 programs. Okay, our students will have to rank those programs first, second, and third choices. We do our best to get our students into their first choice program. If they're not able to do that, then we look at their second choice program. And if we're not able to do that, we would then look at their third choice program. Students will receive only one offer of admission to one program. All of our communication will come through the online registration system, and there are 3 acceptance results available: accepted, not accepted, or waitlisted. For a student who is accepted, their seat must be accepted by March 5th. This allows for schools to plan and adjust for their students. There will be a seat right next to accept or decline where you can click the button. For students who are not accepted, there could be multiple reasons they are not accepted. It could be that the student was declined because he or she did not meet any program requirements, such as he was not in the correct grade level or he was not in the correct school. Also, that student could be entered into the lottery system, but the student wasn't selected for a seat. For some of our programs, we do have limited transfer because we can't have a school go over capacity for a specialty program. So say we have for Grand Park Middle School, we have 35 seats in 6th grade. If I happen to have 47 applications, I'm going to put all of the students who have met the criteria into the drawing, and then we would select out 30 of those applicants. Okay. There is no advantage to getting your application in earlier. Okay, we take our applicants from November 1st all the way to February 1st, and then we would do the lottery from there. We do have situations where a student can be waitlisted. Waitlisted programs are only for Pennington and Porter traditional schools. We do not list the waitlist numbers to families. Okay, if a student is pulled from the waitlist, it could happen up to September 30th of 2025. If a student is not pulled from the waitlist, they will need to reapply next year. So if I have a student who has selected Porter Middle School as their first choice and Ripon Middle School as their second choice for the traditional school and the math and science school, if the student is placed on the wait list for Porter and they are offered a seat for Ripon, they can accept their seat to Ripon. And if they are then offered a seat from the wait list, they can move over to Porter Traditional School. Okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to take you on a quick tour of our website and our application demonstration. We do have a new application system for those who have done it in the past few years. We used to use a program called Scribbles. We are now going to be using the online registration system that is built into Parent View. Okay, this information will help us as we automate our systems and ensure accurate information for all of our students. So I'm going to pause for a moment. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. So our first step is to go to the Prince William County website. I have told you multiple times what our specialty program website is. It's pwcs.edu/specialty programs. But if you happen to have forgotten that, you can simply go over here to families, go down to specialty programs, click there, and then you'll click on our specialty programs website. All of our specialty programs are set up very similar in the system so that our families are able to find the information easily. On our left-hand side, you can see elementary, middle, traditional, and high school programs. You can see our application process, our specialty program transportation, and VHSL eligibility for high school. In the middle, you can see all of those programs as well. And then on the left-hand side, the right-hand side, you can see our contact information. I'm going to click here on our specialty programs for middle school. Okay. And again, it's going to give you our specific programs for our students. Okay. This does not include our traditional schools. You'll notice that's earlier, and I'll show you where to find that information as well. So here we will have our recorded information for tonight's session. That will be up by the end of this week. I'm sorry, the end of next week. Okay. And then we have our program specific information nights. We do have 2 information nights at each school where they are going to share with you about their individual program location. This is your opportunity to ask your students, or I'm sorry, ask your school how the program works specifically at their school. There are some differences in how some of the programs work at each of the schools. So today I'm going to look at our world language schools. I'm going to click there. We have some brief explanation about our middle school programs. It reminds you again that this is a transfer program, meaning your student is going to go full-time to that specialty program school. Okay, and then we have our 3 programs. We have Fredlin Middle, Lake Ridge Middle, and Parkside Middle. All 3 of them are set up in the same way, where you're able to see the coordinator and their contact information, their specialty program website, their information meetings. You can see for Fredlin Middle, you have November 14th at 6:30, and you have January 15th at 6:30, both in the cafeteria. And then you can see our attendance areas. So any student from Fredlin Middle, Graham Park Middle, Potomac Middle, Potomac Shores, Ripon Middle, and Woodbridge Middle, they would all go to Fredlin Middle School for a world language program, if that's what they wanted to do. Okay, we do remind you up here under this note that applications for the world language programs are limited to our 6th grade students. Okay, those are our only students that are able to go to those. So I'm going to come back here to our front page. You can see here on the left-hand side, you have our traditional schools. This is Pennington and Porter. Okay, they have the same information, okay, as well as the same schools. I'm sorry, the same information nights. Okay. The next part I want to show you about is our transportation opportunities. Okay, for our transportation, you're going to click on Specialty Program Transportation, and it's going to give you some information about our transfer programs and what the buses are like for those. Are only for high school students, and it's for a select few. You want to focus as a middle school parent on our transfer programs. Middle school specialty program express bus stops, and I'll click there. And then I'm going to go down to the school I'm looking to go to. So I'm going to go back to that example a moment ago about Fredlin Middle. So I'm going to go down to Fredlin Middle School. Okay, and I'm going to look. These are the stops that I can go to for an express bus stop that will take you over to Fredlin Middle. Okay, so I have about 9 bus stops that I can use. Okay, we do encourage our families to go and see where that bus stop is so that you can navigate what the best way is for your student to arrive at the bus stop. We do ask you in your specialty program application to please list what bus stop you are selecting. Okay, if you are a base school student at Fredlin Middle and you want to do the world language program, you can select down at the very bottom where it'll say, this is my zoned school. Okay, for all of our other families, even if you are choosing to please or to drive your student from to and from school each day, we do ask that you pick a specialty program bus stop in case there is a reason your student has to ride the bus. That way it ensures for us that we know what bus stop that would be so that we don't cancel a specialty or a bus stop because no one is at that bus stop. Okay. The next part, we have our transportation, we have our programs, then we come into our application website. So we're going to go to our specialty program website. You'll notice that it is now completed in parent view, and I'll show you in just a moment how to get there. Okay, you have our researching your options again. Then you're going to come down to our program types. Again, all middle school programs are transfer programs. You're going to apply online, and you'll do February 1st for all middle school specialty programs. Okay. If you are new to the division, okay, and you need to create a Prince William County Parent View account, you'll start here where it says create a PWCS Parent View account. If you already have a Parent View account, you're going to skip down and go to complete the specialty program option. Okay. Then we have our selection, notification, and acceptances. So I'm going to show you real quick using one of our dummy accounts what it looks like to go into the parent view. So give me one moment. There we go. You log into your parent view account, you're going to see this. Okay. If you don't see this when you first log into parent view, up here in the right-hand corner where all of the navigation buttons are, you'll see something that says online records. You'll click on that and it will get you here to your online packet. Okay. This is where you do your annual back to school packet, your impact aid, all of those other pieces. Okay. You're going to come down and you're going to select our specialty program application. You'll have some brief information regarding our specialty programs. And again, you'll see that specialty program website if you need to look back to review anything. We'll hit continue. Here, we are asking you to please give us put in your electronic signature that everything you submit is accurate to the best of your abilities. Okay. We do always let families know down here that your name must be entered exactly as it appears in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. It's this here, okay? The reason we do this is to make sure that it is the correct person, filling in that information. Excuse me. So I'm going to hit save and continue. Here, I will have all of my students. These are all three of my students, Dan, Nancy, and Dan again. Okay, their grade levels that they will be going into next year. Okay, and this time I'm going to look for my 6th grader, Dan. We'll click apply. Give it just a moment. Okay, and this is all of Dan's information, his student ID, his demographics. If there is any information here in this screen that needs to be adjusted, you will need to meet with your student. You will need to call your student's registrar at their base school or whatever school they're attending so that they can adjust that information. That is not information that my team can adjust for you. Okay, we'll hit save and continue. Here it's asking if this student has disability accommodations documented with Prince William that can be shared with the specialty program to which the student is applying to assist in accessing the application process. This is focused on, does your student need any accommodations to access the application process? Your student will have all of their accommodations and services offered during the school year, but this is focused simply on the application process if there's something that they need. You can click yes or no. If you select yes, You need to provide the accommodations that your student may need. Okay. And then you will have the opportunity to work with your student's IEP team to determine what are the best accommodations for this student, just for the application process. So I'll hit save and continue. Then I'm going to hit up here where it says I must meet the requirements of the program. Failure to meet the requirements may result in removal from the program and a return to my zoned school. This reminds our students that there are expectations for you to continue within those programs. If I'm at a world language school and I decide at the end of 6th grade that I'm not going to take a world language the next year, to my zoned school. Okay. We also let them know that they could result in academic ineligibility. Selecting. I have MYP, math and science, same gender, traditional school, and world language. I'm going to do MYP, math and science, and world language. I'll hit save and continue. You can pick whichever ones work for you. If you do not want to apply to all 3, you can simply check just 2, or you could check just 1. Okay. Hit save and continue. And then here, I'm going to click the program locations that I'm going to click the ranking of my choices. Okay. So I have math and science, world languages. I didn't pick our traditional school or MYP. Okay. I'm going to do MYP as my first choice, math and science as my second choice, and world languages as my third choice. I can choose to move those around if I need to. Okay, but I do need to rank them as first choice, second choice, and third choice. Save and continue. Here, I'll do their bus stops. Alvey. Do Alvey again. And then Alvey. Oh, nope. We're going to pick Ellis Elementary for that one. Okay. I'll hit save and continue. And then here I have my three school selections. Okay. If I need to edit anything, I can go back into my edit, or I can leave it as is. If any of my other students want to apply for a specialty program, I can apply for those students as well. I'm going to hit save and continue. It's going to say, are you ready? If you click review, it will show you all of the information that I submitted. Once I'm ready to submit, I'm going to hit submit. Okay. And the submission is done. Okay. It's a very basic, once you're not reading it out loud to everybody, it will go very quickly for you. Okay. And then you can come back later on, check your status. Okay. And it will show you here, these are the 3 applications I processed. These are the 3 school names that I submitted. Okay. And then you can see here when they were submitted. If I want to double check because I forgot what bus stop I selected, I can go back in and I can see which of the bus stops I've selected. Okay. Then I'm going to I'm going to close out of that. Okay. Close out of those. And then I will come back to our presentation. Okay, so that's our website. And you saw on our website, on our application process, the information that you needed, as well as any of those tools on there. You're welcome to use our contact information, use our help sessions, rewatch the video if there's something you're unsure about, but you do have those resources to help you. Okay. So up here, I have our contact information. There's our email address, aasp@pwcs.edu. That's going to get directly to my team. All three of us have access to it. And so we're able to quickly answer any questions. If you do email one of us or email us at aasp@pwcs.edu, you do not have to also email individually. That will get directly to all three of us. Okay, then we have our website, pwcs.edu/specialty programs. That website will have all of the information that you need for your specialty programs. Okay, and I'm going to take just a moment and go over to Dr. Evans and Miss Hart to see if we have any questions that need to be answered for us. I know they've done an amazing job answering all of these questions throughout, so I just want to see if there's any questions that we might need to answer. Math and science programs. That's a great question. Is my child that is in a math and science specialty program guaranteed different curriculum than students not in the program? Yes, your student will be in an enriched science class. They will go with their math courses. Okay, so if a student is in extended 6 or extended 7 or algebra 1, they would go with those courses, but they will have an enriched science class that's going to help them make those connections between science and math. That is a great question for a student to ask at their school-based information night to make sure that they would know exactly what opportunities are available to you. Okay. Pennington Traditional School, do they have any sports teams? I don't believe that they do, but I am not 100% sure. That's a great question, again, for you to ask at your specialty program site. Okay. And then for all of our programs, one of the things that I want to make sure that you know is when you're looking at what school your student would be going to, you're looking at your math and I'm sorry, not your math and science. You're looking at your middle school as your base school. Okay. So you want to move away from the elementary school and you want to move into your middle school to figure out which of the programs you would go to. Okay. If you have questions on that, if you go to Find My School, there is on our website, you're able to put in your address and it will tell you if that's elementary, middle, or high school for you. Okay. For all of our specialty programs at the middle school level, there are no entrance requirements. Okay, your student does not have to pass an SOL. They do not have to score a minimum requirement on a grade. It is an interest-based program for you. Okay. Okay, there is no reason for a student to have a referral from a teacher or a recommendation. There is no additional requirements needed. Okay, so you do not need to add any additional information. It truly is a an interest-based lottery. Okay. Oops. Do you have to apply each year? A great question. You do not. Once you are accepted into a specialty program, you will stay in that specialty program. You will not have to go back and forth each year to apply. You will stay for the duration of that program. Okay. Not all of our specialty programs not all of our middle schools have specialty programs. Okay, so only the 9 schools that we shared with you today have specialty programs at that school. They're still going to have an amazing education regardless of what school they go to. Okay, but not all of our specialty programs not all of our middle schools have a specialty program. Okay, those 5 programs that we listed are the only programs available for our students grades 6 through 8. Okay, we do have additional programs for the high school if you want to look at those programs. Okay, we'll take just a couple more questions.
There's a question about the traditional school and the sibling policy.
Wonderful. Let me find where it is real quick. Oh, goodness, there's a lot of questions. Let's see. Okay. Miss Hart, do you know where that is?
I believe her name was Amelia. It says for traditional schools, can you explain
Yep.
about the siblings policy?
Okay, for a student who is at a traditional school, we do have a sibling policy. Okay, if a student has a sibling who is already enrolled at Porter or Pennington, okay, we do a sibling lottery first, and then we go to the regular lottery. What I do want our families to know with our traditional programs is they are choice schools. So all of the students at Pennington or Porter are all application based. So we typically have about 80 first graders, okay? And then those 80 students go into second grade, okay? We do not increase those numbers each year, okay? So if you started in first grade and you had 80 students, and then you go into second grade and you have maybe 3 kids that have transferred out, you have 3 spots open for second grade. Then in third grade, maybe you don't have any because everybody has stayed there that year. Our ranges of students available for second through 8th grade will be much smaller than the 80 seats that are typically available for the first grade year. So I do want to make sure that all families understand that. Okay. If a student is at Fred Lynn, great question. If a student is at Fred Lynn and they want them to be in the World Languages program at Fred Lynn, they do need to apply for that program. Okay, it's the IB program that they don't need to apply for, but for the World Languages program, they do need to apply for that. Okay, another great question. We do have multiple transfer types. Specialty programs is one way for a family to transfer into another school. We do not currently offer multiple ways for a student to transfer. Okay, so your student could transfer for a specialty program, and that would be done based on their zone school. But if their student also wanted to transfer for maybe childcare or for the parent works in Prince William County, you would only be able to pick one of those reasons to transfer. Okay, so we do make sure that families understand if you're transferring for a childcare transfer, you're transferring to that school because of the location and where it is in relation to your childcare. If you're transferring to a specialty program, then you would be transferring over to the specialty program for which your zoned school goes to. Okay, we can't combine both of those programs together. Okay. Let's see. So our world languages programs, in our middle school, we have Spanish, French, and German. At our high school levels, there may be additional opportunities, but we do not have those at the middle school levels. Okay. If your student does not get accepted into a specialty program, where do they go? They're going to go right to their base middle school. Okay. If your student does not get accepted into either any of the programs they've applied for, they would go to their zoned middle school. Okay. And our last, I'm going to answer maybe 2 more questions. Great. I'm going to answer 2 more Zoom questions. Okay. Our first question is about the express bus stops. Okay. The program that they're interested in, they do seem very prohibited. Okay. Unfortunately, that is the case. These are the programs or these are the express bus stops that have been assigned by transportation. If you have a concern because the bus stop is, I believe it's more than 5 miles, you are welcome to reach out to us, but they typically do not offer them any closer than that. Okay. And then the second question, and this is a great question. Is it possible that my student takes a bus to his own school, which is an express bus stop, and then gets on the express bus stop and goes to their specialty school, and then they do the reverse? Unfortunately, it does not work that way because of the timing. Most of our middle schools start around the same time, and your students will not have the ability to go from their base school, from their base school over to their specialty program without being late. Okay. So what we'll do after we get done with this presentation, my team and I will take any of the unanswered questions as well as some of our answered questions. We'll put up an FAQ and we'll have that posted for our sessions. We'll have that posted underneath our session later on this week. Okay, thank you all for coming and joining us tonight. We truly appreciate it. And we will make sure that we get this information out to you today.
Thank you so much, Kelly, for joining us today. To those of you that have your hands raised, if you could just type your question in the chat or in the Q&A to make sure that Ms. Brown and her team are able to answer your question, please do so. The other thing that I'm going to do is I am going to place the survey for tonight's session in the chat for everyone. If you can take a few minutes just to fill that out. To let us know how we're doing and also any suggestions you have for future topics. Again, thank you to Kelly and her team. We appreciate you guys coming on, and I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Ms. Brown, is it okay with you if I go ahead and end the seminar and the webinar?
Yes, you can. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.